We are told over and over again that after 40, life isn't that great. We're going to feel heavy, sweaty, tired, foggy, and groggy. That is the wrong narrative. I'm here to offer you a very different version of menopause, and a lot of women come to me with a lot of fear around their mind that they're forgetting things and they're wondering if they're getting Alzheimer's or dementia. Brain fog is a symptom of perimenopause and menopause. It's a common symptom, but it's not normal. We're not supposed to experience brain fog. I'm going to offer you 3 very effective and simple solutions to help you clear out the brain fog. Just know that most likely it's Hi everyone, Jennifer here. So if your brain is feeling foggy and groggy and you can't remember things as well as you used to, then this video is definitely for you. I'm going to cover the reasons why you might be experiencing brain fog during perimenopause and menopause. And my goal is to ease your mind. And a lot of women come to me with a lot of fear around their mind that they're forgetting things and they're wondering if they're getting Alzheimer's or dementia. And in Ayurveda, there's 3 very specific reasons why you might be experiencing brain fog. I'm going to explain each one of those reasons in detail so you can understand what is going on at the root level. And of course, as in all my videos, I'm going to offer you 3 very effective and simple solutions to help you clear out the brain fog so it doesn't feel like there's cobwebs up there. Your memory will come back and you'll start to feel more clear and sharp. So my experience with brain fog years ago caught me by surprise. I used to be someone that could remember everything. I could remember every phone number, every detail, and all of a sudden I couldn't find that word. I couldn't find the next sentence that I wanted to say. The worst part was if I'd walk into a room, and I know a lot of you are going to relate to this, I walked into a room and I couldn't remember why I was even there. And I would stand there. I was like, what is going on? Why am I even in this room? I know I'm supposed to remember to do something, but I can't. It was like there was a door. The door was just shut and the information I just couldn't get to. So I would walk back out of the room. Oh, right, that's what I went in there for, and walk back in and do that. This happened a lot. And I started to experience a lot of fear and doubt that I would have a sharp, clear mind when I was older. Once I cleared up this symptom of brain fog, and I do call it a symptom, to me it's just like anything else, like weight gain, hot flashes, sleep deprivation, joint pain. Brain fog is a symptom of perimenopause and menopause. It's a common symptom, but it's not normal. We're not supposed to experience brain fog. When I started to see all of my symptoms go away, the hot flashes, I was sleeping deeply again, I could digest my food, my skin improved. I had horrible rosacea and ocular rosacea. My hair started growing back. My mood was better. My digestion was stronger. And my mind was starting to become clear again. I could remember better. I started asking this one question to myself over and over again. I said to myself, if our bodies are intelligent, and I truly believe our bodies are intelligent. They were born with this blueprint of health. And in that blueprint was a blueprint to move through menopause, through perimenopause, postmenopause. If we have this blueprint built into us, why would this blueprint make us suffer for 35 years from 40 to 75? It made no sense to me. What purpose would there be for us to have brain fog and digestive issues and to not sleep? And when I started to see all of my symptoms go away, I realized that we have been misled as women. We are told over and over again that after 40, life isn't that great. We're going to feel heavy, sweaty, tired, foggy, and groggy. That is the wrong narrative. I'm here to offer you a very different version of menopause, a much more uplifting version that you can move through this time of life feeling clear and calm and light and energized and confident and healthy and comfortable and at ease in your own skin. So a little background information of what actually happens when your hormones start declining. There's kind of 3 things that happen. Your digestion can weaken, you have poor circulation, and the inflammation can go up. Now, we don't have to accept these things. We just have to do things differently in order to counteract these natural occurring things that happen when our hormones start changing. This was one of the very first things that I noticed when my hormones started changing. I could not digest food the way I used to. I had so many food sensitivities all of a sudden. I felt bloated, I felt gassy, and I knew that something was going on down there and I had no idea what. I just knew that I didn't feel as well as what I did in my 30s or 20s for my digestion. Now, I know a lot of you have suffered with digestive issues for a long time, but they can get worse during your 40s and 50s. It's almost like the digestive issues just come to the surface. So this is what typically happens when we start entering perimenopause, and it continues on during menopause, unless you know how to balance this and strengthen your digestion. When you eat, your digestion isn't as strong, your digestive fire isn't as hot, and so you're creating digestive toxins when you eat. Now, what happens then is these digestive toxins start to accumulate in the digestive tract. Then they start migrating outside of the digestive tract, then they start aggravating other parts of your body. And these digestive toxins go to three main places in your body. They go everywhere, you feel them everywhere, but the three main places are your brain, your liver, and your joints. So I'm not going to talk today about the liver and the joints. I'll do that in another video, but today we're focusing on brain fog. So when these toxins get to your brain, all of a sudden you start to feel muddy. You start to feel groggy. I've heard this kind of muddy, foggy, groggy state described in so many different ways from women who come into my program. I'll give you a few examples to see if you can relate. One woman said she felt like she was in quicksand. She was always sinking. She never felt clear. It was just always going down. Another woman just felt like there was a cloud around her all the time. It was just gray and foggy and hazy. And then another woman felt like, she called it thick. Everything just felt thick there. Nothing felt clear and light. So if you're relating to these symptoms, just know that most likely it's as a result of digestive toxins. And of course, stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share with you some very simple and effective tips that you can do today. Literally start today to start clearing out these digestive toxins so that the pathways to your brain are clear, so that you can start getting your memory back and having clear thoughts. As I say in all my videos, digestion is everything. It's everything to do with living in a vibrant, healthy, energetic, symptom-free body. Unless we focus on our digestion, we're just going to treat everything symptomatically. That's called a top-down approach. That is not my approach. I look at everything from the root cause. Why are you even having brain fog in the first place? And a lot of people say, well, you need this supplement and that supplement and this supplement. My approach doesn't use any supplements. I don't say that supplements are bad. I just don't add any more to your mix. I tried the supplement approach to clear my skin, to have a clear mind, to sleep better, to heal my digestion. None of it worked. And I have no doubt that most of you watching this video, you're pretty healthy to begin with. Most women that connect with me and resonate with my approach, they're doing like 150% more than the average woman to be healthy. And this is why it's so frustrating when things like brain fog start taking over. And the second reason, which is very obvious, and most of you are experiencing this, is you are lacking deep restorative sleep. You may be sleeping off and on throughout the whole night, but that is not the quality deep sleep that you need in order to feel clear. Now, if you're thinking, I'm trying to sleep, my body just won't stay asleep, there's very specific things that you can do to help you get into a deeper, more restorative sleep, which I'm going to share at the end of this video, because until we get this sleep pattern back, this deep restorative sleep, we will always feel tired, we will always feel fatigued, and that's just going to translate into a muddy, foggy, groggy mind. This was me. I didn't sleep for probably a good 4 years. I slept maybe 4 hours a night. I could fall asleep okay, but I couldn't stay asleep. I would wake up multiple times in the night. And my mind at that point was filled with so much stress and worry that as soon as I woke up, it was just my mind went, oh, she's awake. Let's just worry about every single thing going wrong in her life. And it would just loop around over and over again. And eventually I would fall back asleep. Well, some nights I didn't. Some nights I just did not sleep. But by the time I did fall back asleep, it was time to get up again to start my day. And this was exhausting. This went on for years. And over time, I was really struggling with my thoughts, with clarity, with memory. And I just thought, what am I going to do about this? So it's no surprise that in Ayurveda, sleep is the #1 foundation of health. #1, without sleep, everything starts to deteriorate. Our digestion, our immunity, and our mood. Your gut has 400 times more melatonin than your brain. 400 times. So if your gut health, your digestive system isn't strong, you are going to have a very difficult time falling asleep and staying asleep. Now, I know this is very frustrating when you are trying everything you possibly can to sleep, but there is a way to sleep better. It's not a quick fix. It's not a supplement approach that I share. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of women sleep deeply through the night. None of these women use a supplement approach to sleep. There's a root cause of why you're not sleeping. When I learned about an Ayurvedic approach to help me sleep better, I couldn't believe the changes. It didn't take long for me to notice significant differences. So I'm going to share with you about the times to be asleep by, why you should be asleep by these times, and also what happens during the night while we're sleeping to clear out that brain fog. And the third reason from an Ayurvedic perspective of why you're experiencing brain fog is high inflammation in your body and stress. Now, I know everyone listening to this, like, I know I'm stressed. There's nothing I can do about it. My job is stressful. My relationship is stressful. My life just seems stressful. I completely understand what that feels like. However, there is a way to reduce the response to that stress and to reduce the inflammation in our body. I'll give you the perfect example. There was a woman who came into my program. She had a very busy life. She had a very stressful job. She was responsible for a lot of people, and she used to be able to handle this high-stressed, high-paced moving life. She loved it. It gave her energy. It was like this adrenaline boost. And when she started going through perimenopause, she could not handle that level of stress anymore. Her body just started to shut down. She couldn't sleep as well. Her hair was falling out. Her digestive issues were off, and she was really irritable. So when she came to me and she explained, her lifestyle, how she was eating, how she was sleeping, and really just the nature of her job, well, I knew that her job wasn't going to change. Okay, in a perfect world, we would all be doing a job that we just loved. It was no stress. I know a lot of you are not in that position. At the same time, though, we need to retrain our nervous system, the neurological pathways in our brain, so that when we are in a stressful environment, we're not flooding our body with chemicals. Just this overload, this chemical cocktail of adrenaline and cortisol. I see a lot of women in my program who are still doing the exact same job as when I met them. It's still a stressful job. They have things in their life, family situations that are still highly stressful, but they've reset their nervous system. They've reset key systems in their body so that their body isn't reacting as strongly to the stress as it used to. All right, I appreciate you coming down this journey with me, because by now you're probably thinking, yes, I want to improve my digestion. Yes, I want to have better sleeps. And yes, I want to lower the inflammation and stress in my body. So let's start with #1, how to improve your digestion. I always joke, I could do a whole week seminar on this, but today I want to give you the 3 top tips that I would recommend if you were coming right to me right now saying, my digestion is a mess, I'm feeling foggy and groggy, bloated and tired, what do I do? The first thing I would recommend to you is to stop drinking cold water and to start drinking warm or hot water. This is called the hot water routine, and it is the #1 and easiest way to start decreasing digestive toxins in your body. So how do we actually do this hot water routine? Every morning I fill up 2 1-liter thermoses with hot boiling water. One of those thermoses might have a special Ayurvedic tea that I'm drinking that day, but one of them, always one of them, is filled with plain hot water. So in the morning, I boil my water, I pour it into my thermos. Throughout the day then, I drink this hot water in a very specific way. So I always have a little cup. I pour off around a cup of hot water, and then as hot as I can take it. You don't want to burn your tongue, but really the key is the hotter the better. I take a few hot sips. They're called hot sips. What these hot sips do is they signal on your tongue. It's not so much that these hot sips are flushing out toxins. Your tongue is a messenger to your digestive tract. So when the hot water hits your tongue, it sends a direct message to go clean up digestive toxins, whether it's food already in your stomach or these toxins can be anywhere. Remember, they go to your joints, your liver, and your brain. So this hot water is a messenger to the rest of your body to clean up, burn up old digestive toxins. One of the main reasons you feel stiff and tired and foggy is this stuck digestive toxins. It's called ama in Ayurveda, and I talk about ama a lot in my videos. It is the number one reason why you're not feeling well right now. So take a few hot sips, let the water cool off to warm. Again, the warmer the better, and then finish drinking your cup of water. You want to drink this water, this hot water routine throughout the day. You want to stop drinking water 30 minutes before your meal. No water during your meal, and I'll explain why. And you want to wait at least an hour or an hour and a half after your meal before you start drinking warm water again and these hot sips. The reason why we don't drink large amounts of liquid before, during, or after our meal is because it's diluting the digestive process. Your stomach, when it's hungry, it's the perfect environment to digest food. When we put a whole bunch of water or liquid in there, whether it's coffee, tea, or juice, you're just diluting that. And now you do not have a strong digestive fire to digest your food. So toxins are formed. And remember the process. They start accumulating, then they start migrating, then they start aggravating to other parts of your body. You can feel it. You just don't feel like you have this energy anymore. Everything feels heavy and stuck and tired. The other thing that we can do immediately to start improving our digestion so we're not creating as much ama or digestive toxins is to start incorporating fresh ginger into every meal. Yes, even your breakfast. Fresh ginger is the queen of digestive herbs in Ayurveda. Think of it like the best digestive enzyme that you can take. It's better than anything that you can buy in a bottle or pill form out there. But just remember that dry ginger, in my opinion, from an Ayurvedic perspective, is much too heating during perimenopause and menopause. Dry ginger is very heating, so if you're having things like high inflammation, inflammatory skin conditions, night sweats, hot flashes, you want to avoid dry ginger. So now that you've started to incorporate fresh ginger into your meals, you'll start to feel less bloating after your meals. And the third way that you can start today to improve your digestion is to focus on eating a light and early dinner. There's a very specific reason why. The hours between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. in Ayurveda is a time of night where your digestion gets very weak. It slows down. There's a good reason why it slows down. It's meant to start quieting down and getting ready for sleep. When we eat, and I know this is not easy for everyone to eat by 6 p.m. your dinner, you just do the best you can. You try and eat closer to 6 p.m. than the other side of 10 p.m. So when we do eat between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m., since our digestion is a lot slower and weaker naturally during this time of night, then that means that most likely we're going to create more digestive toxins than if we ate that meal before 6 p.m. I'm not saying you have to eat dinner at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., but you want to make sure it is between around 5 and 6. Of course, your work schedule is going to dictate when you're going to eat dinner. I'm just sharing with you the ideal from a digestive perspective. What happens is when you do eat a light and early dinner, the sleep process is all about restoring and cleaning up then. It's not about digesting food, which is why you'll notice the earlier and lighter you make your dinner, the more clear and awake you feel the next morning. It's the brain fog, the grogginess is cleared out as long as you had a decent sleep. And remember, stick around because I'm going to share with you some sleeping tips that I incorporate every day so that I have a deep restorative sleep. I love going to bed now. I sleep very, very deeply. I wake up looking and feeling rested, and I've got energy all day long, and my mind is clear. Now, I know for you, probably similar to me, one of the hardest things for me that I had to change was to not eat after dinner. I was a big time night snacker. It was very difficult for me to give up the nighttime snacking. Very, very difficult. However, when I made it 2 or 3 nights without eating after dinner, it was undeniable how much clearer my brain felt in the morning and the next day, all throughout the day. Because your brain, just like your body has the lymphatic system, your brain has a glymphatic system. This glymphatic system is to flush out all the toxins out of your brain while you sleep. It is a very, very important process that goes on while we sleep. And then unless we're having deep restorative sleeps, we miss out on this this kind of flushing, this cleaning out effect while we sleep. Okay, so I keep mentioning sleep, how important it is to have deep restorative sleeps. What can you do tonight to make sure you have a better sleep? So the first thing is you want to try, and I'm going to explain how to do this if you're nowhere near this, you want to be asleep by 10 p.m. So remember I talked about the period in Ayurveda between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. That's a time of night where you don't want to eat a large meal. You want to just start winding down. And now the next period is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So we want to be asleep by 10 p.m. according to Ayurveda for a very specific reason. If we're not asleep by 10 p.m., we miss out on all the detoxification processes that happen in those 4 hours. And it's not just Ayurveda that recognizes 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. as the most important time to be asleep. If you had to just choose 4 hours in your day to be asleep for, if you only had 4 hours of sleep, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is the most important time period to be asleep. We've all heard this, early to bed, early to rise. That's the best for a healthy brain and body. It is so true. Now, if you're someone who's like, that's impossible, I cannot be asleep by 10 p.m. I've helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women over the years in my program move closer to this 10 p.m. bedtime. It doesn't have to happen overnight, but what I would suggest is no matter what time you're going to bed, start moving the needle down, start moving the clock down 15 minutes each week. So say you go to bed at midnight. So for a week, go to bed at 11:45. The next week, 11:30. You keep that path going until you can train your circadian rhythms and get your melatonin on this routine to start going to bed to be asleep by 10 p.m. It is a game changer when you can be asleep by 10 p.m. I go to bed way before 10 p.m. Once I got to 10 p.m., I felt so much better the next day. And then it was 9:30, then 9. And to be honest, I know a lot of you are going to laugh. Most of the times I'm asleep by 9. Now I know being asleep by 9 is not even a possibility for some of you. It just works for me because this is the next key point. I learned and I decided to trade my night times for mornings. I'll explain what this means. Typically, when we stay up at night, we're not doing things that are great for our health. We could be snacking, we could just be binge watching TV. We're not doing those things in the morning. So what I help women realize, if you could trade even half an hour of your nighttime, just half an hour, preferably an hour though, and tack that on to the morning. So if you go to bed an hour earlier, you'll have an extra hour in the morning. And I know for a fact that a good, healthy morning routine sets your tone for the day. So for me, I would much rather get up earlier than stay up later. The things I'm doing in the morning are supporting my hormones, they're supporting my digestion and my health, but more importantly, my mind. My mornings are much slower, more balanced, and to be honest, much more enjoyable and healthy than what they used to be. If you can get into the routine of getting up earlier to allow yourself some time to move through the morning a little bit slower so that your mind isn't just stressed the moment you wake up, this will do wonders for your brain fog. And the third tip that I'll give to help you stay asleep, and this is going to sound very strange if you've never done one before, but it's a ghee foot massage. So ghee is one of the most nourishing oils you can use in Ayurveda. It's good for anxiety, it's good for your digestion, it's good for your hair and your skin. And when you massage the bottoms, the soles of your feet, especially getting between each toe, which represents your lymphatic system, there's spots on your foot that represent the liver, the spine, the digestive tract. So when you massage the entire foot, you're signaling your body into the rest and digest system. You're coming out of fight or flight. And if we think that we can just have a deep, solid sleep after a very stressful day, you would think that would be the case. You would be tired after being so busy and stressed for the day, but that is not how it happens. That wired but tired carries over into the nighttime, and then that time of night between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. is when we can wake up and feel wide awake. This is a time of night where our liver is cleansing, and if we've had a lot of stress that day, the liver is the workhorse organ that processes all stress, all emotion, and digestive toxins as well. So when your liver is what I call hot and congested, we will wake up feeling very awake. And doing this ghee foot massage, and there's an essential oil that I always recommend to use with this, will help you to come into the rest and digest and repair mode so that you can fall asleep quicker and stay asleep. Now, how do you do this ghee foot massage? I always just lie an old towel on my bathroom floor. I grab an old pair of socks. I use around 1 teaspoon or half a teaspoon of ghee per foot and a drop of sandalwood per foot. I do 1 foot, put a little bit more ghee, another drop of sandalwood, and massage my other foot. If you don't have any ghee, you can also use some almond oil, olive oil, or coconut oil. After you've spent as long as you want, at least a few minutes on each foot, put an old pair of socks on, wait around 10 minutes for the ghee and the oil to soak in, and then head to bed, and you'll notice that you sleep much deeper. So if you remember from the beginning of the video, the third reason why you're having brain fog is due to high inflammation and high stress. This is the part where most women think, there's no way I can change my stress levels. There's no way. Now, I'm going to share with you some of the things that you can do throughout the day to help clear that brain fog. When you are feeling just muddy and foggy, there's certain things that you can do. And one of the main ways that you can clear out brain fog immediately is through certain breathing techniques. And I love this saying, the quality of your breath reflects the quality of your life. So how are you breathing throughout the day? A lack of oxygen, if you're breathing shallow and fast, have a look at your breath right now. Don't try and change it, just have a look. Where is it starting from? Is it starting from your belly? Or are you breathing in your chest, more up here? This is the fight or flight breath. When the breath is all up here in your lungs, the rest and digest breath starts in your belly. It's slow, it's intentional. I would say changing the way I breathe has been the most impactful thing that I've done for my health and my hormones, period. It wasn't easy. I still have to remind myself to slow down my breath, to be present with my breath. So for many years, I had sticky notes everywhere. I'm not kidding. They were on my mirror in the bathroom, on my computer, in the car, in the kitchen when I was doing dishes. It would just say, breathe. That's all it said. And I'd do a little heart there to remind me that this was such a loving thing to do for myself, is to breathe. Consciously breathe. Proper breathing helps to expel accumulated waste in your body. There's so many books now written on proper breathing techniques. I find the breath fascinating, and there's one particular breath that I'm going to share with you right now that will help to immediately clear out the brain fog. So a few warnings, please do not do this while you're driving or doing any other activity that needs your full concentration. So it's called Kapalabhati breath. You don't even need to remember that name. It's also called skull shining breath, because skull, you think of your skull and it's shining. That means clear, radiant. This is one of the breaths that I share with women to help clear out some toxins out of their body, but mainly it's for brain fog. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit in a comfortable position. You can close your eyes if it feels comfortable, and you are going to exhale forcefully, and then the inhale is going to come naturally. So you're not going to go. So you can see I'm inhaling, exhaling. You don't want to do a forced inhale. When you exhale forcefully, the inhale will naturally just come. I do, and it sounds like a lot, but I do 108 Kapalabhati breaths every morning. It's just part of my morning routine, but I will also do this in mid-afternoon if I'm feeling like I need a little energy burst. So to start, put your hand on your stomach, and you're gonna feel your hand go in, 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 in. So I'm just gonna demonstrate. I'll demonstrate 5 for you. That's what it sounds like. It's quite forceful. You don't have to do it that fast. If you're starting to feel lightheaded, take a break, and that's good. Eventually, you'll make your way up to maybe you can do 3 sets of 10 or 5 sets of 10. I've been doing this for so many years. It's very natural for me, and it's just exhale, 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 exhale. You can do this short Kapalabhati breathing exercise multiple times in the day. Most women who have practiced this Kapalabhati breathing say it has made such a difference in how clear their brain feels. The other thing that I want to mention that has to do with the breathing, this one's obvious, that's why I'm not making it a specific point, is exercise and fresh air. Just like conscious breathing and using these certain breathing techniques can clear the pathways to the brain, So can exercise. Going out for a short walk, even just standing outside on your driveway or your balcony or your front porch and just breathing in some fresh air. This is one of the best things we can do to feel more clear. Obviously, going for a fast-paced walk and getting your heart rate up, this gets your circulation going. And one of the contributing factors to brain fog is a lack of circulation. So a lot of these suggestions that I make are very simple, but they're very effective. I have no doubt that if you practice these simple exercises like the hot water routine, the Kapalabhati breathing, eating an early and light dinner, focusing on your sleep, trading your nights for your mornings, you will notice a big difference in your brain fog within 2 weeks. I do want to add in one more suggestion. You won't find this suggestion in an Ayurvedic textbook. You won't find it in a functional medicine textbook, but this has been my experience. Decluttering my space, my work environment, my home environment, all this stuff that I had, I knew was contributing to this feeling of being overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed with too many moving parts in our life, the brain fog can set in. We just can't focus. We try and focus and then we're just drawn. Our mind goes to another topic that we need to think about. The less stuff that you have in your house, I know this sounds very different, but the less stuff you have in your house, the clearer, more calm and relaxed you're going to feel. Now, I know for a lot of you, you don't have control over everything that comes in and out of your house because you're living with family members. You do the best you can. For me personally, after I went through those few years of surgeries and treatments to do with my breast cancer, I came out of that and I craved simplicity. I wanted to just get rid of stuff. I wanted to get back to just myself and having more time for myself. And I didn't want to waste my time organizing and cleaning all these things that I didn't truly need. So I went through a journey. It was probably a 2 or 3 month journey where I went through every single thing in my house and I would look at it. Do I really need this? And there were some things, no doubt, I'm like, oh, I'm keeping this. I love this thing. But there were other ones I'm like, no, I don't. I like it. I will probably miss it, but someone else is going to enjoy it more than I want it right now. And I gave away so much stuff, and I cannot tell you the clarity, this clear feeling in my mind. I felt free. It's the only way I can describe it. I felt free. So if you want to take this brain fog to a kind of a different level outside of digestion and sleep and stress, ask yourself honestly, look at your space, your workspace, your home. Is it cluttered? When you walk into your home, do you go, this is clean and organized and I feel relaxed? Or do you walk into your home and you feel, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. It's so messy. So that's why a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. If you want to feel more clear and calm, clean your space. All right, beautiful ones, if this approach resonates with you and you want to go deeper, then you can head to my bio. There's lots of information to get started. Have a beautiful day. Much love.